they got no place to be. That's why I'm starting with me. I'm starting with the man in the mirror. I'm asking him to change his ways. And no.
Michael develops a friendship with Deepak Chopra, an advocate for alternative medicine and an Indian-American author. Fred Astaire. His Friends Talk by Sarah Giles has been published. This book features reflections and memories about Fred Astaire, with contributions from various individuals. Notably, Michael Jackson shares his admiration for Astaire's commitment to perfection. January. Michael is on the covers of Black Beat, Blues and Soul, Cashbox, Esquire, and Star Search magazines. MTV presents From Motown to Your Town, a special program featuring highlights from Michael Jackson's career, along with footage from the initial leg of his Bad World Tour in 1987. Michael attends the Beyond Belief show featuring magicians, Siegfried and Roy in Las Vegas. He invited them to design stage illusions for the relaunch of his Bad World Tour. In exchange, Michael and Brian Lauren composed a song titled Mind is the Magic for them to use as the opening for their shows in 1989. Michael begins the filming of the claymation short film called Speed Demon, which is also featured in the Moonwalker movie. A parable about the people who harassed him was referred to by Michael as a machine song and was co-directed by Will Vinton, who was hired, at Michael's request, brought us the high-speed chase special effects. Speed Demon was also co-directed and co-produced by Jerry Kramer.
I wish I could. I feel so limited. This stuff is so tight on.
A judge has dismissed a $150 million paternity lawsuit against Michael, filed by LaVon Paulus, who refers to herself as Billie Jean Jackson. Paulus alleges that Michael is the father of her 3 children and has often harassed him, violating a restraining order that she remain 100 yards away from Michael's Encino home. As a result, a judge sentenced her to 2.5 years in prison. It has also come to light that Michael was not the only celebrity she claimed to be the father of her children.
He invited me out to LA, and I met him at his house, and we had a date in his car, and I got pregnant.
A judge dismissed the case without comment.
January 9th. Filming for the short film, Leave Me Alone, has wrapped up. While it only took 3 days to shoot Michael's scenes, the post-production process spanned 9 months as the visuals, designs, and effects were crafted using 35mm film cutouts with X-Acto knives. January 16th. The heart of the album, Man in the Mirror, was released in the United States as the 4th single from Bad. The song reached the #1 spot on the Billboard Hot Black Singles, Hot Dance Music, Hot 100 charts, Radio and Records Contemporary Hit Radio or Pop Airplay chart, and Canadian music charts. The single remained on the Billboard Hot 100 for 21 weeks. Penned by Saida Garrett and Glenn Ballard, the opening verses convey a feeling of helplessness, highlighting how the world often overlooks the suffering of others and remains unaware of their needs. However, this shifts to a powerful and hopeful resolution. If you want to make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and then make a change. January 20th. The latest inductees have been welcomed into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Among them is Berry Gordy, the founder of Motown. Ahmet Ertegun, the co-founder of Atlantic Records, shared a congratulatory telegram that Gordy received before inviting him to the stage. The message said,
Berry Gordy says, "Congratulations, you deserve it. You are the father of fine music. Love always, your son, Michael Jackson.
January 23rd. The Way You Make Me Feel reached #1 on the Billboard Hot Black Singles, Hot Dance Club Play, Hot 100, and Cashbox charts. Internationally, it also reached #1 on the Irish Singles Chart. The single remained on the Billboard Hot 100 for 36 weeks. This is Michael's third #1 record from a single album, and it is the first time ever that he achieved this feat, which also distinguishes him as one of only 4 male vocalists in the rock era to have 3 consecutive #1 singles. This is also Michael's 9th solo #1 record in America, which places him at the 4th position of artists with the most #1s, behind the Beatles at 20, Elvis Presley at 17, and the Supremes at 12. The Way You Make Me Feel is Michael's 7th #1 solo hit from the 80s, breaking a 3-way tie between himself, Madonna, and Whitney Houston. He now holds the record for the most #1 hits from the 1980s. January 25th. Michael Jackson secures one of his 2 nominations at the 15th Annual American Music Awards, winning for Favorite Soul and R&B Song with Bad. However, he loses to Paul Simon in the Favorite Pop Rock Male Artist category. Notably, Michael does not attend the ceremony held at the Shrine Auditorium in Los Angeles, California. Later January to later February, rehearsals for the Bad World Tour were held at the Pensacola Civic Center in Pensacola, Florida. Vincent Patterson, known for his collaboration with Jackson on various music videos, was enlisted to choreograph and co-direct the tour. The original Soul of Michael Jackson album is released in Britain by Motown, but does not chart. During his time in Florida, Michael receives an invitation to an antique bookstore, where he is presented with a first edition of The Elephant Man by Frederick Treves, the physician who formed a friendship with John Merrick, known as the Elephant Man. February. Michael is on the covers of Black Beat, New York Daily News, and Solid Gold magazines. February 6th. The short film for Man in the Mirror has been released. The video features a compilation of significant news events and individuals who have made a positive impact. A portion of the proceeds from the single was donated to Camp Ronald McDonald, an organization that supports children battling cancer. Director Don Wilson aimed to create a reversible video, explaining per se. What I mean is, if you play the video in reverse, it starts with purity and innocence, while man's inaction and injustices lead to chaos, hopelessness, and war. Michael did not request any alterations. The imagery deeply moved him to tears. Man in the Mirror topped the MTV charts for nearly 20 weeks. Michael demonstrated that he didn't need to appear in a video for his music to achieve commercial success. A second Man in the Mirror video, directed by Patrick Kelly, was filmed at a live concert during the Bad Tour. This video serves as the introduction to the film Moonwalker. February 8th. Michael Jackson was honored as Best International Solo Artist at the 7th Annual British Phonographic Industry Awards, commonly known as the Brits, held in London. During a break from filming his music video, Speed Demon, Michael accepted the award via satellite, presented by Noel Edmonds.
It's a very short speech, but straight from the heart. I just want to say I'm very honored and very happy. I love you all. Thank you very much.
February 12th. Michael was in Hawaii for a business trip, attending the Pepsi Bottlers Convention at the Sheraton Waikiki Hotel. At this same event, Jimmy Safechuck, the boy featured in the Pepsi commercial with Michael, along with his mother, Stephanie Safechuck, and another actress from one of the commercials, Vanessa Sandin, were invited by Pepsi for a 3-day stay at the Kahala Hilton Hotel, with all expenses covered by the Cola Company. During their time there, they all enjoyed exploring the resort's attractions alongside Michael's entourage. Denise Darville-Chong, along with her friends, noticed Michael walking along the resort, says,
I, along with 3 friends, met Michael Jackson at the Kahala Hilton Hotel, where a friend worked. We had just finished paddling and were enjoying a barbecue when my friend mentioned that Michael Jackson was scheduled for a sunset sail. After about 15 minutes, lo and behold, Michael Jackson appeared walking down to the beach with a young boy and a Caucasian woman. We ran up to him and he asked, "Are you the lifeguards?" We were not lifeguards, but we were so excited we just replied, "Yes." I asked who the boy was. She said he was from the Make-A-Wish Foundation. The lady, I was later told, was actress Terry Garr from the movie Mr. Mom. They were in Hawaii for a Pepsi convention, as was Michael J. Fox. Michael and I shook hands. He had long fingers and he had a nice sweet cologne. He was very polite. I was surprised there was no security personnel with him. It was a day I will never forget.
February 17th. Mary Hart from Entertainment Tonight pays a visit to Michael during the dress rehearsals for the Bad Tour at the Pensacola Civic Center in Pensacola, Florida. Michael engages in a brief interview with Mary and agrees to be filmed as he rehearses with his band and dancers. Mary is quite taken with the rehearsal experience, stating,
Watching behind the scenes, you know right away who's running the show. It's Michael Jackson. Every move, every note, everything on that stage is in his control. He's a perfectionist, and he knows exactly what he wants.
The bass gotta have more bottom. The bass is too bouncy.
February 18th. On the final day of dress rehearsals, Michael invites 420 students from Hallmark Elementary in Pensacola to watch his tour rehearsal. This special event follows the creation of a rap music video made in his honor, inspired by a letter from Principal Margaret Anderson. February 20th. Man in the Mirror, released in Britain on February 8th, entered the UK singles chart, peaking at number 21 and remaining there for 5 weeks. This single was issued on a uniquely shaped square picture disc as part of a promotional strategy designed to distinguish it from the typical round album format, highlighting its powerful message of self-reflection. The back of the record features a dedication, dedicated to Yoshiaki Hagawara. May such a terrible thing never happen again. I will always love you. Michael Jackson. This shout-out was also made by Michael during his live concert in Japan in 1987, February 23rd to 24th. Michael launches the leg of his Bad World Tour with his first ever solo performances in America. Beginning in Kansas City, Missouri, he captivates an audience of approximately 51,000 fans across 2 sold-out nights at the Kemper Arena. These standing room-only concerts generate over $960,000, surpassing the previous record by $400,000 held by any other artist at the venue, including Elvis Presley. Tatiana Thumston also participated in the show. A 2-year-old cancer patient named Alan Buford, cradled by his mother Brenda, had the chance to meet his favorite celebrity backstage. With his doctor's approval, the young boy was able to attend the sold-out show. Late February, Michael arrives in New York City. March. Michael is on the covers of Black Beat, Globe, Jet, Another Jet, Mad, OK, and Tuto magazines. March 1st. In New York City, Michael attends a press conference arranged by Pepsi to preview the 4-part series of Pepsi commercials featuring Michael Jackson. He, along with Pepsi CEO Roger Enrico, presents United Negro College Fund President and CEO Christopher Edley Sr. a check for $600,000. Monies earned from sold-out ticket sales for his March 3rd private Michael Jackson concert to benefit the United Negro College Fund and to be held at Madison Square Garden. The event featured children reading their anti-drug messages to Michael. They were the winners of the Bad Bee Against Drugs anti-drug contest, who won the chance to meet Michael and win tickets to his concert. Pepsi linked the conference via satellite to journalists across the world, in hopes that Michael would take part in a Q&A session. However, all they got was a 15-word thank you speech.
Thank you very much. I'm very honored, very thankful. I love you all. Thank you.
March 2nd, at the 30th Grammy Awards held at Radio City Music Hall in New York, Michael captivates the audience with an unforgettable live performance of The Way You Make Me Feel and Man in the Mirror. Michael invited the same Andre Crouch choir featured in the making of the song to join him on stage for the performance. Rolling Stone described it as the most amazing performances, and that this was as majestic and definitive as the Motown 25 Moonwalk. Despite Bad being the best-selling album of 1987 and topping charts in over 25 countries, he secures a victory in just one of his 4 nominated categories. Despite Bad being the best-selling album of 1987 and topping charts in over 25 countries, he secures a victory in just one of his 4 nominated categories. During the award show, several groundbreaking Pepsi commercials featuring Michael Jackson are broadcasted. The ads gain such popularity that Soviet officials request them to be shown on Soviet television. This opportunity enables Pepsi to become the first American brand to purchase commercial airtime in the Soviet Union. Approximately 150 million Soviets view these advertisements. In the weeks after the Grammy broadcast, Billboard magazine noted that sales of Bad surpassed those of U2's The Joshua Tree. It's worth mentioning that this was the very album that won the Grammy for Album of the Year of 1988.
For Album of the Year goes to the artists and album producers. The nominees are
Bad, Michael Jackson. Album producers Quincy Jones and Michael Jackson.
Producer of the Year goes to a record producer for outstanding creativity in a representative body of work released during the eligibility year. And here are the nominees.
Quincy Jones and Michael Jackson. I was in a hurry.
The nominees for Best R&B Vocal Performance Male are Bad, the single. Bad, the single, Michael Jackson. Stevie Wonder.
Now the nominees for Best Pop Vocal Performance Male are Bad, the album, Michael Jackson.
March 3rd, 5th to 6th, Michael captivated a full house of 57,000 fans at all 3 sold-out performances at Madison Square Garden in New York, the first of which was a benefit concert for the United Negro College Fund titled Private Michael Jackson Concert. Among celebrities guests of the 3 concerts were the Jackson family: Brooke Shields, Quincy Jones, Prince, Lionel Richie, Joan Jett, Stevie Wonder, Madonna, and New York City Mayor Ed Koch, who attended one of the concerts and tells the New York Post that Michael Jackson really is the supreme theatrical dancer. Like Fred Astaire, Michael invites the Casio family to the concerts, and he spends time with them at the Hamsley Palace. Saida Garrett joined him for a duet on I Just Can't Stop Loving You, while Steve Stevens impressed the crowd with his electric guitar skills on Dirty Diana. The first show made headlines when Tatiana Thurston kissed him on the lips during his stage performance of The Way You Make Me Feel. Apparently, this move would upset Michael's management team, with statements that she was taking advantage of him. This would be Tatiana's final performance on the tour. This would be the last time Michael and Tatiana would see each other. March 8th. It's Michael Jackson weekend on MTV in America. The video network features Michael's short films, specials, and concerts reports throughout the weekend. March 9th. Michael, Jimmy Safechuck, his mother, and Liza Minnelli all enjoyed a performance of The Phantom of the Opera, where they had the opportunity to meet the stars, Michael Crawford and Sarah Brightman, backstage at the Majestic Theater in New York. A fan of musical theater, Jackson had also visited the casts of various other Broadway productions in the past. March 10th. Michael Jackson is honored by the United Negro College Fund as one of their highest contributors at the 44th annual anniversary dinner held at the Sheraton Hotel in New York. Michael is presented with Fisk University's Honorary Doctor of Humane Award honoring his continued commitments to the UNICEF, and also receives the highest honor, the Frederick D. Patterson Award, for his continued efforts towards alleviating world hunger, helping terminally ill children, and for his inspirational example to the youth of America. This is a special moment for Michael with his Michael Jackson Scholarship Fund that was set up in 1984, having provided 97 scholarship awards. Michael's scholars have been enrolled in almost every one of the UNICEF's 42 schools. Quincy Jones, Whitney Houston, Yoko Ono, Elizabeth Taylor, and Liza Minnelli attend the event. The media noise was chaotic. At the second annual Soul Train Awards, Michael wins 2 of his 3 nominations for Best Single, Male for Bad, and Best Album, Male for Bad. The Way You Make Me Feel loses in the category Best Video to his sister, Janet, for Control. Neither one of them attend the award ceremony. Michael agrees to a charity auction being held at the family Encino home. The auction raises some $2 million, which are donated to the South African Council of Churches for housing, clothing, and medical supplies. The event is hosted by Whoopi Goldberg, but Michael was not at home at this time. March 12th. The Showtime cable channel airs Motown on Showtime. Michael Jackson, The Legend Continues. Executively produced by Suzanne DePass and Michael Jackson, it features never-before-seen footage of the Bad World Tour 1987, new interviews of Michael's family and friends, and a glimpse inside Havenhurst. March 12th to 13th. Michael Jackson delivered 2 out of 3 planned concerts to a sold-out crowd of 17,000 at the St. Louis Arena in Missouri, all while battling illness. Despite feeling unwell, he effortlessly sang and danced with his signature agility, leaving the audience ecstatic with every moment. March 14th. The 3rd and final concert in St. Louis was canceled because Michael developed laryngitis shortly after arriving in Missouri. Mid-March. Michael and Catherine traveled to Indiana Harbor, close to Gary, Indiana, to visit Catherine's father, Prince Screws. The family name, originally spelled Screws, was changed by Mr. Prince during his earlier years. March 18th to 19th. Michael performs 2 concerts at the Market Square Arena in Indianapolis, Indiana, to a sold-out performance of 34,000 each night. March 19th. Initially called Zaca Ladara's Ranch, the estate was rebranded as Sycamore Valley Ranch shortly after property developer William Bone acquired it in 1981. Today, the ranch has been sold to Michael Jackson for $19.5 million, who renamed it Neverland Ranch, inspired by the fictional island from Peter Pan. March 20th. Michael delivers a sold-out concert for one night at Freedom Hall in Louisville, Kentucky, entertaining an audience of 19,000. March 24th to 26th. Michael performs to capacity audiences 40,251 at all 3 shows from the McNichols Sports Arena in Denver, Colorado. March 26th. On this day, Man in the Mirror reached #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 and Hot Black Singles charts. It holds its position for 2 weeks and 1 week, respectively, remaining on the charts for 17 and 14 weeks respectively. With Man in the Mirror reaching #1, Michael has made history as the first artist to achieve 4 #1 singles from a single album. Bad is only the second album to produce 4 chart-topping singles, the first being the soundtrack for Saturday Night Fever. Michael also becomes the first artist to have 4 consecutive #1 singles as a member of a group and as a solo artist. He is also the first artist to have 4 top 10 hits from 3 consecutive albums. Billboard magazine names Michael Jackson as the 3rd most successful songwriter of the year. Michael has written 3 #1 singles this year: I Just Can't Stop Loving You, Bad, and The Way You Make Me Feel. 2 extra dates have been added for Michael's Bad World Tour at Wembley, scheduled for July 22nd and 23rd. This increases the total number of concerts to 7, making Michael the first artist in history to perform this many shows at Wembley Stadium during a single tour. March 30th to April 1st. It is reported that the Bad album has sold 1.9 million copies in Britain since September 1987. Michael performs to a capacity crowd at the Hartford Civic Center in Hartford, Connecticut, in front of 45,188 each night. April. Michael is on the covers of Bravo, Confidential, Sunday, Music News, and Hit Cramp magazines. Fat, a track by Weird Al Yankovic, comes from his album Even Worse. This song is yet another parody by Yankovic, reimagining the lyrics of Michael Jackson's hit Bad. Michael, who once again granted Yankovic permission to use his music, is said to thoroughly enjoy the amusing outcome. Friday Night Videos is dedicated entirely to Michael Jackson videos. It is the first time the video program has ever been devoted to just one person. April 6th. Philips hosted a rock and pop memorabilia auction in London. During the event, the Hard Rock Cafe acquired a pair of crystal-studded purple Capezio shoes and a stage shirt designed by Bill Whitten and worn by Michael for £4,400. Additionally, the Daily Star newspaper purchased Michael's silver lame stage costume, a pair of stage shoes, costumes worn by the Jacksons, an autographed drawing, and autographed photos. April 8th to 10th. 3 unforgettable sold-out concerts at the Summit in Houston, Texas, each drawing a crowd of 51,000 fans every night. April 11th. Michael's attorney, John Branca, along with his accountant, Marshall Gelfand, served as trustees for the Sycamore Valley Ranch, now rescinded by Michael as the sole property owner. April 12th. Dirty Diana was launched as the 5th single from the album Bad. Recorded in 1986, Michael not only provided the lead and background vocals, but also played the clave on the track. Although he was often perceived as not being able to play an instrument, Michael is indeed credited for this contribution. It's not just about what you know, it's also about who you know. Quincy Jones reached out to his friend and producer, Ted Templeman, as Michael was in search of a guitarist for his song Dirty Diana. Interestingly, Beat It inadvertently led to the breakup of Van Halen, as the other band members couldn't forgive Eddie for collaborating with a mainstream artist like Michael Jackson. During the creation of Dirty Diana, Michael aimed to work with Steve Stevens, who had been Billy Idol's guitarist since their time with Generation X. In contrast to Van Halen, Idol and Stevens had parted ways long before Dirty Diana, shortly after the release of Whiplash Smile in 1986. April 13th to 15th. Michael is set to perform in concert for an audience of 51,000 at the Omni Coliseum in Atlanta, Georgia. Complimentary tickets will be offered to the Make-A-Wish Foundation, a charity dedicated to terminally ill children, for all 3 performances. April 14th. The music video for Dirty Diana premiered on MTV and marks Michael's first time filming in Long Beach, California, not even a month ago, back in March. Alongside Michael, this video featured Steve Stevens. The body of the woman seen walking in this video was model Lisa Dean, who was paid a modest $300 per day. During one of the takes, Michael unfortunately slipped and injured himself, causing him to return several days later to complete the final shots. Director Joe Pytka continued filming behind-the-scenes moments, capturing the iconic close-ups of Diana walking through the streets. April 16th. The '88 remix of I Want You Back, released by Motown, enters the top 100 singles chart in Britain, reaching a peak position of number 8 and staying on the charts for a total of 9 weeks. The accompanying music video features a compilation from the cartoon show of the Jackson 5. April 19th to 21st. Michael captivates a full house of 40,000 attendees across 3 nights at the Rosemont Horizon in Rosemont, located near Chicago. During this event, he is also honored with the Key to the City by Mayor Eugene Sawyer. April 20th. After 4 years in the making, Moonwalk, the highly anticipated autobiography of Michael Jackson, has been edited by former First Lady Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis and is published by Doubleday. Within just 2 weeks, it climbs to the top of Britain's bestseller list, with the initial print of 70,000 copies selling out rapidly. A reprint of 12,500 copies is then ordered, followed by a second reprint of 30,500 a week later. In the United States, Moonwalk makes a splash by debuting at number 1 on the Los Angeles Times bestsellers list and number 2 on the New York Times list, climbing to the top position in its second week. These 2 charts are regarded as the most significant in the publishing industry. Within a few months, it is revealed that Moonwalk has sold over 450,000 copies across 14 countries worldwide. Michael dedicates Moonwalk to one of his greatest inspirations, the legendary Fred Astaire, who just passed away in 1987. April 25th to 27th. Michael performs in concert at the Reunion Arena in Dallas, Texas, to another sellout crowd of 57,000 in all 3 nights. April 30th. Dirty Diana enters the Billboard Hot Black Singles chart, peaking at number 8 and remains on the charts for 13 weeks. May. Michael is on the covers of American Teen Scene, Bravo, Another Bravo, Ciao 2001, Fresh, Jet, Lookin', Star, Panorama, and Tempo magazines. An additional date has been added to the already extensive British tour itinerary. This new event will take place at the iconic Aintree Racecourse in Liverpool, the birthplace of the Beatles. May 4th to 6th. Michael captivates a full audience of 50,662 during 3 concerts at the Met Center in Minneapolis, Minnesota. These performances mark the last 30 shows of the first leg of the United States tour, which drew 500,000 fans eager to see Michael perform live. Prince goes to the concerts, where he meets Michael backstage. Later, he extends an invitation for Michael to visit Paisley Park, a sprawling 65,000 square foot estate located in Chanhassen, Minnesota. May 5th. Get It, a duet by Stevie Wonder featuring Michael Jackson, has been released by Motown Records. This track is featured on Stevie Wonder's album, Characters, which is now his 21st studio album. The single made its way onto the Billboard Hot 100, reaching a peak position of number 80 and staying on the chart for 6 weeks, while it attained number 4 on the R&B charts for 11 weeks. Notably, no music video was produced for this release. May 15th. Captain EO, Backstage, was broadcast on ABC as an episode of the Disney Sunday movie. This was a behind-the-scenes documentary of the 1986 film, Captain EO, featuring Whoopi Goldberg as the host. This television special takes viewers behind the scenes of Captain EO, featuring dance rehearsals, makeup applications, special effects, and even captured moments that went wrong on set.
But in spite of all the precautions, Michael had a very close call.
Oh,
yeah, it's okay though. The scene continued to be a problem. First, one of the warriors' helmets fell off. The costume department got the helmet fixed, and then the whip broke. The prop department got the whip fixed, only to have it get tangled up in the set. Finally, all the problems were solved. Sort of.
Mid-May, Michael relocates from the family's Encino residence at Havenhurst to his newly acquired ranch in the Santa Ynez Valley, located approximately 100 miles north of Los Angeles. The expansive 2,700-acre Sycamore Valley Ranch is quickly renamed Neverland Ranch, inspired by Michael's favorite book, Peter Pan, featuring the boy from Never Never Land. While the purchase price is commonly reported to be $28 million, some sources claim the actual cost was $17 million. May 16th. Get It was released in Britain and climbed to the top 100 singles chart, reaching a peak position of number 37 while spending 4 weeks on the charts. The song almost didn't happen, as both superstars were juggling demanding touring schedules. They ultimately decided to collaborate from a distance, with Stevie in Los Angeles and Michael in Japan. While remote music collaborations are now quite common, this method of recording Get It resulted in a lack of the unique chemistry that these guys typically produce when working side by side in the studio. Sadly, Get It would also mark the final duet recorded between these two good friends.
I just ran off, didn't I?
May 17th. Michael Jackson appeared in 5 Pepsi-Cola commercials that aired in the Soviet Union, reaching an audience of 150 million between May 17th to 21st. These commercials were featured during a week-long 5-part series titled Posner in America, hosted by Russian journalist Vladimir Posner. This marked a historic moment as the first American commercial to be broadcast behind the Iron Curtain, making Michael the first non-Soviet to advertise a product on Russian television. According to pop music historian Dmitry Babich, video culture was not very developed in Russia, and there were very few VCRs. Michael Jackson became a legend without being seen often. So, when Russian television became liberalized, young viewers aged 17 to 19 were eager to see him. A spokesperson for Pepsi confirmed that Soviet officials specifically requested Michael Jackson's commercials. May 18th. Michael's movie Moonwalker is previewed at the Cannes Film Festival in Cannes, France. The film is scheduled for Christmas release. Michael does not attend the preview. May 19th. Michael arrives at Leonardo da Vinci Airport in Rome, Italy, to prepare for the opening night concert of his European leg of the Bad World Tour. He is escorted 12 miles into the city, where he enjoys his stay at the luxurious Lord Byron Hotel. May 21st. Michael visits the Sistine Chapel in the Vatican, where Michelangelo's masterpieces have undergone meticulous restoration. He is joined by the U.S. Ambassador to Italy, Maxwell Rabb. It is reported that Michael plans to meet with the Pope John Paul II in the Vatican during his visit to Rome. May 22nd. Michael pays a visit to the Bambino Gesù Children's Hospital in Rome, where he engages with children undergoing treatment. He takes the time to sign autographs, pass out candy, and give out his album to the little ones. Additionally, he makes a generous donation of $100,000 to support the hospital. May 23rd to 24th. Michael launches the European leg of the Bad Tour with 2 sold-out concerts at the Flamingo Stadium in Rome, drawing a crowd of 80,000. Despite battling laryngitis once more, Michael is determined not to let his Roman fans down, and the show proceeds as scheduled. After the performance, an after-party takes place at the 16th century Palazzo Taverna, where Michael makes a brief appearance and is warmly welcomed by guests, including Maxwell Rabb and Valentino Garavani. Notably, Sophia Loren and Gina Lollobrigida are also present. After years of silence between them, Michael facilitates a reunion for a memorable photo. It is announced that Pepsi is to donate 4,000 Bad World Tour UK concert tickets to the ITV Telethon '88. which will raise some £200,000 for Great Ormond Street Children's Hospital. May 25th. Pope John Paul II is unable to meet with Michael due to his backlog of engagements, which has built up during the Pope's visit to South America. Michael received an invitation to the villa of movie director Franco Zeffirelli in Rome. Zeffirelli is known for directing The Taming of the Shrew, which featured Liz Taylor and Richard Burton. For this special occasion, Michael is honored to be the guest of honor at Zeffirelli's birthday party. May 29th. Michael performs in concert to a sold-out audience of 60,000 at the Olympic Grande Torino Stadium in Turin, Italy. June. Michael is on the covers of Ebony, Bravo, Hey, Jet, OK, Review, Right On, Le Figaro, OK, Télé Loisirs, and Télérama magazines. Michael Jackson, The Legend Continues, is released on home video in America. June 1st. Michael achieves yet another milestone, becoming the first artist in history to have 3 albums with over 6 million copies sold in the US on this day. Both Bad and Off the Wall reached this impressive benchmark, with total worldwide sales now at 15 million and 9 million copies, respectively. Thriller continues to reign as the best-selling album of all time, boasting global sales exceeding 40 million units. June 2nd. Michael captivated a full house of 55,000 fans during a sold-out concert at the Prater Soccer Stadium in Vienna, Austria. Authorities reported that 130 women fainted during the event. June 3rd. Michael Jackson, The Legend Continues, is released by Motown Video and within days becomes Britain's fastest-selling video of all time. June 5th. Before his concert in Rotterdam, Netherlands, Michael generously donates a check for 125,000 guilders to the Dutch National Education and Vacation Fund. This organization is dedicated to raising funds for the development of young people within society. CBS Records executive Rude Ribbon presents Michael Jackson with a plaque for sales achievements for the Bad album, prior to Michael performing his first of 3 concerts in the Netherlands. June 5th to 7th. Michael captivates a full house of 145,200 fans during 3 concerts at the Feyenoord Stadium in Rotterdam, Netherlands. June 9th. As part of a marketing strategy for an amusement park in Sweden, Michael agreed to take a small break from the Bad World tour to visit Liseberg Amusement Park in Gothenburg. At 3 p.m., he and his entourage of around 100 were granted exclusive access to the entire park. Michael relished the experience, riding the roller coasters more than a dozen times and thoroughly enjoying every moment. He also invited Swedish child star Anton Glanzelius, known for his role in My Life as a Dog. In exchange for this memorable day, the park requested that Michael leave his handprints and signature for Liseberg's Walk of Fame, which remains on display to this day. He expressed his gratitude to the park staff for their hospitality and gifted them excellent seats to his upcoming concert. June 11th to 12th. Michael performs to capacity audiences of 106,000 for 2 concerts at the Eriksberg in Gothenburg, Sweden. June 16th. Michael performs before a capacity audience of 50,000 at a sellout crowd at the St. Jakob Stadium in Basel, Switzerland, amongst attended by Elizabeth Taylor, Sophia Loren, and Bob Dylan. June 17th. During his time in Basel, Michael meets Mrs. Una O'Neill, the widow of silent film legend Charlie Chaplin, at the Manoir de Ban. This charming home is situated in Corsier-sur-Vevey, alongside the picturesque shores of Lake Geneva in Switzerland. Mrs. O'Neill Chaplin revealed to Michael that he and her late husband had a lot in common, having risen to success and distinction from poverty. After the meeting, Jackson briefly declares that, "I have just fulfilled my biggest childhood dream." June 18th. Celebrity music entertainer memorabilia was auctioned at Sotheby's, New York, with proceeds supporting the T.J. Martell Foundation for Leukemia, Cancer, and AIDS Research. Michael contributed his autographed black fedora, which fetched an impressive $4,125 at the auction. June 19th. Michael performs for one night to a crowd of 43,000 at the Republic Square, located near the Berlin Wall in West Germany. Outside the venue, tensions escalated into a confrontation with police as they charged at thousands of young East German fans. These fans had gathered at the Brandenburg Gate to hear Michael's concert taking place at the Reichstag in the West. Just hours before Michael's bad concert was set to start, the East Germans attempted to steal the spotlight by organizing their own event, hosted by Katharina Witt, the East German World Ice Skating Champion. Among the performers were Bryan Adams and Big Country. Sadly, it is the violence surrounding the Brandenburg Gate that makes headlines in the tabloids, rather than Michael's music, which is typically associated with uniting people from all nations and races. June 25th. Michael Jackson's jet lands at Charles de Gaulle Airport. He arrives in the country to get ready for 2 sold-out concerts while in Paris. Before going to work, Michael has booked special private tours during his time in France. During his stay in Paris, Michael is checked in at the Hotel Crillon Rosewood of Paris. June 26th. Michael has the famous Louvre Museum closed for a private visit of about an hour. Contrary to what was said at the time, he showed little interest in Da Vinci's Mona Lisa because it was already so well known. He specifically requested to see 3 particular works: Psyche Revived by Cupid's Kiss, a 1793 marble sculpture by the Italian sculptor Antonio Canova, Endymion Moonlight Effect, also known as The Sleep of Endymion, by Anne-Louis Jordet, and Saint Sebastian by the Italian Guido Rini. June 27th to 28th. Michael performs to capacity audience of 63,000 for 2 nights at the Parc des Princes in Paris, France. Amongst the celebrities at the show is Johnny Hallyday, designer Patrick Kelly, and Grace Jones, among others. The mayor of Paris, Jacques Chirac, awards Michael with the La Grande Médaille de la Ville de Paris, a prestigious honor typically reserved for heads of state. Tickets for the second U.S. leg of the Bad World Tour will be available for purchase 4 to 6 months before the scheduled performance dates. Due to high demand, tickets tend to sell out rapidly, with 3 shows planned in most cities. July. Michael is on the covers of Bravo magazine 3 times in the same month, including Black Radio exclusive Black Beat, Best, Blues and Soul, Hello, Number 1, Popcorn, Ride On, Star, The Sun, Super Pop, Top 50, Weekend, and Woman's Own magazines. July 1st. The first ever issue of Off the Wall magazine is published by Adrian Grant, who names the fanzine after his favorite Michael Jackson album. Only 200 copies of the first issue is printed, but it isn't long before readership grows around the world, not only being read by MJ fans, but also by the man himself. Michael entertains a crowd of 50,000 at the Volkspark Stadium in Hamburg, West Germany, where opera legend Placido Domingo is in attendance. Within 10 minutes of the Bad concert tickets going on sale for the Milton Keynes Bowl stop in England on September 10th, the city's telephone network is jammed with calls from fans wanting to purchase tickets. Marcel Evram, the managing director of Mama Concerts, the promotion company handling Michael's European tour, discloses that Michael is making over $3,425 per minute for his performances across Europe. He has secured a deal valued at $20 million, from which he retains 90% of the earnings from all concert ventures. After compensating his entourage of 140 members, he is left with approximately $400,000 in profit for each show. July 2nd, Michael visits Phantasialand in Groll, Germany, accompanied by Jimmy Safechuck and the famous magicians, Siegfried and Roy. He becomes enchanted by a 19th century carousel at the park, and it is reported that he proposes a substantial profit to the park owners, Richard Schmidt and Gottlieb Lavalhart on the £160,000 they already invested in the Italian-built attraction. Michael wanted it transferred to his property on Neverland Ranch. In Cologne, Michael also acquires 2 realistic dolls named Casimir and Friedrich for a total of £650. Dirty Diana reaches the top spot at number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100 chart, making Michael Jackson the first artist to achieve 5 or more top 10 hits from 2 consecutive albums. Thriller boasted 7 top 10 hits, and Dirty Diana stands as the 5th top 10 hit from the Bad album. It stayed on the charts for an impressive 14 weeks. Contrary to what many believe, Dirty Diana was not a diss track directed at Diana Ross due to her marriage to Arne Nass Jr. in 1985. In reality, she frequently included it as an opening act in her concerts. Furthermore, the song was not about Diana, Princess of Wales, either. Michael received a personal note from the princess, indicating that it was one of her favorite songs by him. July 3rd. Before his Bad concert, Michael meets with Siegfried and Roy to discuss their Illusion act in Cologne, West Germany. Michael performs to a capacity audience of 70,000 at the Mungersdorfer Stadium in Cologne. July 8th. Michael performs to a capacity audience of 72,000 at a sellout concert at the Munich Olympialk Stadium of Munich, West Germany. July 10th. Michael performs to a capacity audience of 80,000 at another sellout concert at the Hockenheimring Baden-Württemberg in Hockenheim, West Germany. July 11th. Another Part of Me, launched as the 6th single from the album Bad, was released by Epic Records. Originally completed in 1985 to make the cut on the Disney 3D film Captain EO in 1986, the Another Part of Me track almost didn't make it on the Bad LP because it was pitted against another song called Streetwalker. Michael wanted Streetwalker on the album, while Quincy wanted Another Part of Me to make the cut instead. Manager Frank DeLeo would be the deciding factor to break the tie vote. Another Part of Me was ultimately chosen.
Funny now, because Michael wanted to do Streetwalker in the album, and I was in the studio that day, and he sent DeLeo over there and said, Michael wants us to try to decide now whether we're going with Streetwalker or Another Part of Me. And DeLeo had the long cigars. He loved to have those long cigars, and so he was sitting in the chair. And Michael liked Streetwalker, and I wanted to do Another Part of Me. He wrote both of them, so it didn't make any difference to him. But it was just interesting, just another part of me, the feeling of it, So this was the shootout to figure out which one. We're going to listen to them, 3 of us objectively, and listen to decide which one is going to get picked. And so he was sitting down when Streetwalker was on, and when Another Part came up, he got up with his little fat ass. You're not helping Michael at all. What do you call him? Rubber? Well, whatever you call him. Michael had a funny name for it. What are you doing, man? He just blew my whole case in. So hilarious. But that was a choice instead of Another Part of Me. And so Leo helped me get part of me because he started shaking his butt on it.
Michael touches down at the London's Heathrow Airport, arriving an hour late on a Lufthansa flight from Frankfurt. He is welcomed by a rooftop filled with thousands of fans, eager to catch a glimpse of the superstar. As he makes his way to check into the Mayfair Hotel, all transportation in London comes to a standstill. Michael occupies a suite on the 7th floor, accompanied by his team of 125 roadies, which includes a personal entourage of 20 individuals. His doctor, dentist, throat specialist, manicurist, chiropodist, masseur, hairdresser, 2 secretaries, his chef, and 7 bodyguards. There would have been 121 roadies, but his pet chimp, Bubbles, was unable to enter the country due to Britain's strict anti-rabies law, forcing any animal to be quarantined for 6 months. July 12th. Michael visits Hamley's toy store in Regent Street. July 13th. Michael takes time to visit ill children at the Great Ormond Street Hospital in London, while his fans camp out overnight at Wembley to secure front row tickets for the opening concert. July 14th to 16th and 22nd to 23rd. Michael is expected to spend the next 2 weeks in London to hold down a total of 5 concerts at Wembley Stadium. On opening night, at 8:20 p.m. on a damp but otherwise unremarkable night, Michael ignites Wembley Stadium with a spectacular performance, greeted by a roaring crowd of 72,000 fans at the venue's first sellout concert. Opening for Michael on his European tour is MCA recording artist Kim Wilde. The star-studded audience on opening night includes notable figures such as Jack Nicholson, Terence Trent D'Arby, Dead or Alive, Billy Connolly, Adam Faith, Russ Abbott, Jane Seymour, John Peel, Valerie Singleton, Shirley Bassey, Harrison Ford, Frank Bruno, and George Lucas. July 16th, Prince Charles and Princess Diana attend the third Wembley concert of the Bad Tour, where Michael Jackson meets the royal couple backstage before the performance. He gifts them specially made tour jackets for Prince Harry and Prince William, along with a special collection of his recordings. Additionally, Michael presents a $166,000 check for the Great Ormond Street Children's Hospital and another $450,000 check to the Prince's Trust to promote employment of young people in inner cities. And another $450,000 check to the Prince's Trust to promote employment of young people in inner cities. Michael originally didn't perform Dirty Diana because he didn't want to offend the royal family at the start of his Wembley tour. But when Princess Diana told Michael that Dirty Diana was her favorite song, he later re-added Dirty Diana back to his normal set list. Dirty Diana enters the top 100 singles chart in Britain, peaking at number 4, and remains on the charts for 8 weeks. Fat by Weird Al Yankovic, a playful parody of Michael Jackson's Bad, makes its way into the top 100 singles chart in Britain, reaching a peak position of number 80 and staying on the charts for 4 weeks. July 18th. During their time in London, Michael, Jimmy Safechuck, and his parents hung out. They take a trip to Elstree Studios, where Michael's friend Steven Spielberg is directing his newest film, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. Additionally, they have the opportunity to meet Harrison Ford and Allison Doody on the set. July 20th. Michael makes another visit to the Great Ormond Street Hospital, where he meets numerous terminally ill children from across Britain, including a 9-year-old boy with a brain tumor and a 4-year-old girl who had undergone throat surgery. In one of the less critical wards, he dedicates time to reading stories to the children. By evening, a banquet is held in Michael's honor at the historic town centre, Guildhall, in London, to celebrate the British leg of the tour. Michael Jackson was treated like royalty. Literally. By granted permission from Queen Elizabeth II, Michael was the first person not of royalty or aristocracy to be allowed permission through the royal entrance heralded by trumpeters of the Life Guards Cavalry. Dancers in Old English costumes scattered rose petals at Michael's feet as he was escorted to the head of the table in the Great Hall. July 22nd. Disney's Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck surprise Michael with a pair of specially engraved ice skates backstage just before his 4th concert at Wembley Stadium. July 26th. Michael performs to a capacity audience of 55,000 at the Cardiff Arms Park in Cardiff, Wales, where he is dubbed the Earl of Whirl by the crowd. Another Part of Me enters the Billboard Hot 100 and Billboard Hot Black singles charts, reaching peak positions of number 11 and number 1, respectively, and staying on the Hot 100 for 13 weeks. By peaking number 11 on the Billboard Hot 100, this would be Michael's first single not to reach number 1, unlike the first 5 singles off the Bad album. And like I mentioned earlier, Michael initially didn't want Another Part of Me to make the final cut on the album, but rather the song Streetwalker. In any case, by reaching number 1 on the Billboard Hot Black Singles chart, Michael ties a new record with 5 number ones off the same album, joining none other than his little sister Janet, who also has 5 number ones on the Hot Black Singles chart from her album Control. Another Part of Me marks Michael's 9th number 1 hit on the Black Singles chart during his solo career, solidifying his status as the artist with the highest number of number 1 hits in history on the Billboard Hot Black Singles chart. July 27th. Michael took an opportunity for photo ops with the San Francisco 49ers, an NFL football team visiting London for the American Bowl exhibition game against the Dolphins. While they were in town, several players managed to catch Michael Jackson's performance at Cardiff Arms Park in Wales. July 30th. Michael Jackson and the Jackson 518 Greatest Hits re-enters the top 100 albums chart in Britain, peaking at number 85, and remains on the charts for 3 weeks. Bad Souvenir Singles Pack, a special collection of 6 square picture discs released to commemorate the Bad World Tour, enters the top 100 albums chart in Britain, peaking at number 91, and remains on the charts for 1 week. NBC broadcasted a special edition of Friday Night Videos called Michael Jackson Around the World, a 19-minute special hosted by Felicia and Ahmad Rashad, showcased concert footage from the Bad World Tour. The special also features the premiere of the official video, Another Part of Me. It achieves the highest ratings in America for its 11:30 p.m. time slot, attracting 27% of the television audience. The video was shot in May to July of 1988, with footage taken from his concerts in Paris and London. July 30th to 31st. Despite dealing with an ankle injury he sustained during his concert at Cardiff Arms Park, Michael performed for a combined audience of 130,000 over the 2 nights at the Parc y Cleve in Cork, Ireland. The revenue generated from ticket sales for these 2 concerts helped finance the acquisition of the Christy Ring Stadium by the Cork County Board in 1989. August. Michael is on the covers of song hits Black Beat, Chet, Ketpiva, Liverpool Echo, Look In, Sunday, Hot Press, and 4 covers of Bravo magazine. Frank DeLeo held a press conference to announce that the Bad World Tour would be Michael Jackson's last. August 3rd. Michael Jackson has arrived at the Los Monteros Hotel in Marbella, Spain, to get ready for his first ever Spanish concert as part of his Bad World Tour. He is accompanied by a growing entourage of approximately 150 individuals, including chefs, tailors, hairdressers, and a medical team. To accommodate his needs, a dance floor has been specially installed in his hotel suite for this visit. August 4th. People magazine airs a TV special on CBS featuring the Jacksons. Joe Jackson denies Michael's claim of child abuse he expressed in the book, Moonwalk, describing the beatings as little spankings. In an interview, Marlon agrees with Michael, saying they were hit, and often. August 5th. Michael performs at the Marbella Municipal Stadium in Marbella, Spain, to a sellout audience of 28,000. It's his first concert in Spain. Taylor Dayne has been selected to be Michael's opener for the remainder of his August concerts, up until his returning tour dates in England. Whilst in Spain, Michael rented the entire Incasol medical spa estate at a cost of £50,000 per week for himself and his entire entourage. Renowned for its extensive spa facilities and comprehensive health programs, offered a combination of medical treatments, beauty therapies, and wellness activities. August 7th. Michael performs to a capacity audience of 60,000 at a concert at the Vicente Calderón Stadium in Madrid, Spain. CBS Spain execs presented Michael with a quadruple platinum award from Sales in Spain for Bad. August 9th. Michael performs in concert to 95,000 at the Camp Nou in Barcelona, Spain. August 12th. Michael performs to another sellout crowd of 35,000 at the Stade Richter in Montpellier, France. August 13th. During a day off in between concerts in France, Michael takes a trip over to Monte Carlo, Monaco, to visit his friend, Sammy Davis Jr. He takes the opportunity to come on stage at the Salle des Etoiles Sporting Club, where Sammy is hosting a concert.
I can do Michael Jackson. Ha, 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 ha.
August 14th, Michael delivers an electrifying concert to an audience of 35,000 at the Stade Charles Herman in Nice, France. August 19th, Michael does a concert at the Pontes Olympic Stadium before 45,000 in Lausanne, Switzerland. August 21st, Michael performs to a capacity audience of 43,000 at a concert at the Talavera Mainwiesen in Würzburg, West Germany. August 23rd, Michael performs to a capacity audience of 55,000 at a concert at the Werchter Festival grounds in Werchter, Belgium. August 25th, Catherine Jackson joins Michael in London. August 26th, Michael returns to Madame Tussauds, London for a private visit with his mother, Catherine. August 26th to 27th. On the first evening of his last two performances at Wembley Stadium in London, Michael requests the audience to pray for Elizabeth Taylor, who is enduring a severe illness. He dedicates the song, "I Just Can't Stop Loving You," to his dear friend, stating,
Very important message to make. Can I have everybody's attention? Please. A very, very dear friend of mine is very, very sick tonight. And the pain that she is experiencing is unbearable. So I ask that everyone in the stadium tonight just bow their heads for 5 seconds to Elizabeth Taylor, please. Please. Thank you.
Janet and Catherine attended both concerts. August 29th, Michael warmly greets his fans from the balcony of his hotel, showcasing his unique style wrapped in a net curtain. He sends heartfelt messages of affection to the loyal supporters who have gathered to celebrate his birthday. One of his touching messages states, "You guys really show loyalty to me. I would like to look you in the eyes and talk to you, but I am too shy. It sounds silly, but it is true. I love you all very much. I really do." It continues, "Don't believe all the strange stories people make up about me. Sometimes I cry, but it is fans like you that make me fight. I love you." Michael performs to a capacity audience to a concert at Roundhay Park in Leeds, England. Michael turned 30 years old on this day, and after his performance of Heartbreak Hotel, 90,000 voices united to sing "Happy Birthday." His mother and sister, Janet, are in Britain to congratulate him. The concert is a benefit for the British charity Give for Life Foundation. Michael presented a check for $100,000, which contributed towards helping immunize 40,000 children. August 30th. Michael visits Sadler's Wells Theatre in London to attend a performance by Marcel Marceau. After the show, he meets the artist backstage and takes photos with both Marceau and Bob Jones. September. Michael is on the covers of Bravo, Another Bravo, Cracked, Jopi, People, and Popcorn magazines. The Flintstone Kids is broadcasted on ABC. This animated series showcases a young Fred, Barney, Wilma, and Betty as they earn extra money to attend a concert to see caveman Michael Jackson. Michael allowed his song Beat It to play on the show, which was rewritten with new lyrics promoting a message for kids to avoid drugs. The special is titled "Stage for a Concert at Niedersachsen Stadium, entertaining 40,000 fans in Hanover, West Germany." However, because of poor weather, he opts for a ferry ride to Hanover instead of flying. Unaware to the 2,000 holiday travelers celebrating Sedentag, he makes the journey from Dover to Calais aboard P&O's flagship, the Pride of Dover, while staying hidden in a limousine with tinted windows. LaToya Jackson and her manager Jack Gordon attend the show with Catherine and visit Michael at his hotel later. It's the last time Michael and LaToya would see each other until 2002. September 4th. Michael entertains a crowd of 52,000 at the Park Stadium in Gelsenkirchen, West Germany. September 6th. Michael takes the stage to perform for 40,000 fans at Linzer Stadium in Linz, Austria. September 7th. At the 1988 MTV Video Music Awards, both Bad and The Way You Make Me Feel were nominated for Best Choreography, but ultimately lost to his sister Janet for the video, The Pleasure Principle. Nonetheless, Michael was honored with the MTV Video Vanguard Award by Peter Gabriel during a special satellite presentation, following his performance of Bad at his concert in Wembley.
Thank you very much.
Okay, I think you have a show to do, so maybe we should get going.
Thank you.
September 8th. Michael was honored with an award for breaking the record for dates by any artist from the director of Wembley Stadium. His 7 sold-out concerts attracted an astounding 504,000 attendees. This achievement also secured him a place in the Guinness Book of World Records. Catherine Jackson was in attendance at the award ceremony. September 10th. Michael performs to a capacity audience of 60,000 at a concert at the Bowl in Milton Keynes, England. September 11th. Before his concert in Liverpool, England, Michael was honored with a platinum plaque for his Bad album. As fans rush to the front, some unfortunately sustain injuries as they become crushed against the stage. Michael delivered his last European concert to a full crowd of 125,000 at the Aintree Racecourse in Liverpool, England, setting a record for the largest concert audience ever at this racetrack. The Bad World Tour is the longest tour ever undertaken in Britain, singing to over 800,000 fans and earning over $13 million. September 12th. Michael departs from Britain after completing his hugely successful European tour, setting off for the second leg of his American tour. He and Catherine fly back to Los Angeles, heading straight to Michael's newly acquired residence at the Neverland Ranch. Upon their arrival, they are warmly welcomed by the ranch's staff, led by Michael's personal maid, Bianca Francia. Forbes magazine lists Michael Jackson as the #1 highest paid entertainer with 2-year estimated earnings of $97 million. Live LP by Michael Jackson and the Jackson 5 is released by Motown Records, but it does not enter the charts. September 19th. MTV presents a Michael Jackson documentary marathon, airing 3 specials called From Motown to Your Town, Another Part of Me, and the making of Michael Jackson's Thriller. All shown 1 week before the Bad Tour returned for the second leg of the United States. September 21st. Bubbles is a guest on Dick Clark Live, bringing home a note from Michael that reads, "Dear Dick, I am giving Bubbles the night off so he can come play on your show. Sincerely, Michael Jackson." Bubbles performed some of his talents on the show in front of a live studio audience, including the moonwalk. September 22nd. As the Bad World Tour comes to town in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, hometown of Frank DeLeo, Mayor Sophie Masloff declared it Frank DeLeo Day, where he was celebrated at his Central Catholic High School, and a roast was held in his honor.
What was supposed to be a salute for the Central Catholic graduate quickly turned into a roast.
Frank was known by many names. Frank the Tank, for obvious reasons. Shooky, for not so obvious reasons. Mr. Personality, and a few other choice names which I can't mention here in public.
Even DeLeo's old football coach got into the act after presenting his 4-year varsity guard with a replica of his Viking jersey. Mayor Sophie Masloff made it officially Frank DeLeo Day. Then the Point Breeze boy got his moment in the spotlight.
Never stop dreaming, because dreams do come true. Thank you.
September 26th to 28th. Michael kicks off the second leg of his Bad World Tour in the United States to a capacity audience of 48,694 for 3 sell-out shows at the Civic Arena in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. October. Michael is on the covers of Bravo and OK magazines. October 3rd to 5th. Michael performs to capacity audience of 61,061 for 3 concerts at the Brendan Byrne Arena in East Rutherford, New Jersey. October 10th to 11th. Michael performs to sold-out audiences of 38,000 for 2 concerts at the Richfield Coliseum in Richfield, Ohio. October 11th. British fans have the exclusive opportunity to be the first to view the Michael Jackson film Moonwalker at a special screening in London, made possible by Off the Wall and Time Out magazines. October 13th. MTV debuts the short film Smooth Criminal. Michael originally envisioned this video as a Western tribute, even filming test shots outside his home. However, he quickly recognized that the song's theme didn't align with his concept, prompting him to contact Vincent Patterson for a new idea. Vincent not only provided a fresh concept, but also drew inspiration from Michael's idol, Fred Astaire, in the process.
Right now, the anti-yokas are too big. It should be more internal. You got more movement. It should be more like something's going on inside you. I mean, that's why when we build it to a mountain and we bring it back down, it's got to have that emotion. We're going to lay with this.
Yeah, he can
We're going to lay with this. And then at the top, oh, maybe a high string or something, just to ride the emotion of it. You come into
Right.
Just a horn or something, you know, to ride the feeling of it. I want the music to represent the way we feel. You know, it's gotta dictate our emotion.
Right.
You know, our moods. We're expressing the way everybody feels. It's rebellion. You know what I mean? We're letting out what we always wanted to say to the world. Passion, anger, and fire.
October 13th and 17th through 19th. Michael performs to capacity audiences of 69,883 for a total of 4 concerts at the Capitol Center in Landover, Maryland. October 23rd. In a short ceremony held outside the iconic Motown recording studio, Hitsville, USA in Detroit, Michigan, Michael presented Esther Edwards and Barry Gordy with a check for $125,000 to support the Motown Museum Historical Foundation.
It's a great honor to be here. I'm very happy and proud to give back to the soil from which I came. And Barry Gordy is the man that made it all possible for me. I want to say thank you, Barry, and I love you.
Additionally, he donated a black fedora, his renowned rhinestone glove, and the costume he performed in during his 1972 performance of Ben on American Bandstand. October 24th to 26th. Michael performs to capacity audiences of 50,010 for 3 concerts at the Palace of Auburn Hills in Auburn Hills, Michigan. The first concert is a benefit for the Motown Museum. October 29th. Moonwalker makes its debut in Japanese theaters. October 31st and November 2nd. Michael cancels 3 of his scheduled concerts at the Tacoma Dome in Tacoma, Washington, due to vocal cord pain. No new dates were given for these concerts. November. Michael is on the covers of GIS in Action and 3 covers of Bravo magazines. The 1988 winter issue of Right On magazine is a special collector's edition dedicated entirely to Michael Jackson. November 7th to 9th. Michael captivated full audiences of 45,000 at all 3 concerts held at the Irvine Meadows Amphitheater in Irvine, California. When tickets were released, the first 2 shows were sold out in a remarkable 47 minutes. Just an hour later, tickets for the 3rd show were also completely sold out. Following his concert, Michael expressed a desire to visit his wax figure at the Movieland Wax Museum in Buena Park, California. He specifically requested that there be no media, press, or cameras present during this special moment. At around 1 a.m., a limousine and a passenger van pulled up. The limousine carried Michael's nephews, while he arrived solo in the van with his driver. They enjoyed over an hour of exploration throughout the museum. Among the various exhibits, Michael particularly adored the wax figures of the Three Stooges. When he approached his own wax figure, he began to dance around it, providing spontaneous entertainment for his group. November 13th. Michael dazzles a full house of 93,198 attendees at a concert held at the Los Angeles Memorial Sports Arena in California. Numerous members of the Jackson family are present to witness the performance. Backstage, Michael receives a proclamation from Los Angeles Mayor Tom Bradley, declaring November as Michael Jackson Month. November 14th. Smooth Criminal was launched as the 7th single from the album Bad. It made its way onto the Billboard Hot 100 and Hot Black singles charts, reaching a peak position of number 7 and number 2, respectively, and spent 15 weeks on both charts. The heartbeat that introduces the track is actually Michael's own heartbeat, and he is also credited for the hand claps and finger snaps. November 14th to 15th and 20th through 22nd. Michael cancels his next 5 concerts at the Sports Arena in Los Angeles due to illness. They are rescheduled for January 1989. November 19th. The Banality Show, hosted at the Sonobend Gallery, showcased a life-sized porcelain sculpture depicting Michael Jackson alongside his pet chimpanzee, Bubbles. This piece, titled Michael Jackson and Bubbles, was crafted by American contemporary artist Jeff Koons and produced in the Italian porcelain factory of Cesare Villari in Solagna, Italy. Originally, Koons created 3 identical sculptures, each valued at $250,000 at the time. However, their worth has since skyrocketed into the millions. One sculpture was made available to collectors, while the other 2 are exhibited at the San Francisco Museum of Modern Art and the Astrup Fearnley Museum of Modern Art in Norway. Jeff Koons, also a fan of Michael's, once said at the time, "If I could be one other living person, it would probably be Michael Jackson." November 20th. At the 9th Annual American Black Achievement Awards, hosted by Ebony Magazine, both Michael and Whitney Houston received nominations in the Music Award category. However, The award was ultimately given to Gladys Knight and the Pips. November 21st. A Smooth Criminal limited edition souvenir pack is released including 4-color postcards of Moonwalker. November 26th. Smooth Criminal, released on November 14th, enters the top 100 singles chart in Britain at number 12, peaking the following week at number 8 and remaining on the charts for 10 weeks. Recording engineer Bruce Swedian lends his voice to the song as the police chief making the announcement. Michael Jackson's Bad album has made history as the first album ever to produce 7 top 40 singles in the UK charts. November 28th. A special limited edition 12-inch Smooth Criminal Moonwalker Advent Calendar single is released in a gatefold sleeve. This 3-track album includes doors that unveil unique scenes from the Moonwalker film. December. Michael is on the covers of Black Radio, Adlib, Bravo 3 times, Imagines de Actualidad, Juke, Another Juke, Lookin', Pop Rocky, Popcorn, Studio, Telepoche, Susiki, and Billboard magazines for their cover of 1988, the Year in Music and Video #1 awards. Michael is voted Best Male Vocalist at the Smash Hits Poll Winners Party for the 2nd consecutive year and accepts his award via satellite.
Thank you, Smash Hits in the United Kingdom, and all the readers of Smash Hits magazines in the United Kingdom. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Friday Night Videos is dedicated exclusively to Michael Jackson's music videos for the 2nd time. The show is hosted by sports analyst Ahmad Rashad. December 8th. Michael and his team arrive in Tokyo, Japan. December 9th to 11th, 17th to 19th, and 24th through 26th. Michael kicks off the 2nd leg of his Japanese tour with 9 sold-out performances at the Tokyo Dome, which was previously known as Korakuen Stadium and has since been renovated with a roof. Reports indicate that attendance for this tour is 4 times higher than any previous tour. December 11th. Prior to Michael's 3rd concert at the Tokyo Dome in Tokyo, he meets 2 young fans along with their parents backstage. 9-year-old Ayana Takada is recognized as the 4 millionth fan to attend the Bad tour. Although he is short on time before his performance, Michael quickly poses for a photo with Ayana and her parents while proudly holding the certificate to commemorate this special occasion.
I have to go. I'm really late. I'm really late.
Brandon Adams has arrived in Holland to promote Moonwalker. He was the young talent who not only secured a role in the film, but also played the lead as young Michael Jackson in the children's short film version of Bad.
Is he, as we all see him? I mean, a shy, very shy person?
Yeah, Michael's shy. He's fun to be around, I'm sure if you met him, you would think he's real great. He's a wonderful person. Yeah. I'm okay.
Stand up, we have music for you.
December 15th. Michael visits Tokyo Disney.
What, Dad? Jesus Christ.
December 16th. Michael Jackson visited Sega of Japan after being requested by Michael's contacts to visit the studio. In the afternoon, Michael met with Sega president Hayao Nakayama, and toured the development department, playing Super Thunderblade on the Sega Mega Drive and the arcade game Power Drift, and Galaxy Force 2 SDX, which was gifted to Michael after the tour. December 22nd. During his breaks from tour dates in Japan, Michael visits Gunma Safari Park. He boards a tour bus to observe and feed the tigers and bears, but he has particularly requested to see the young elephants, Tango and Natsuko. While at the park, he captures photos and leaves behind memorabilia and signed items. Additionally, Michael generously donated 500,000 yen to a foundation that supports children who have lost their parents in car accidents and promotes animal welfare. December 23rd. Michael has received an invitation to a welcome party at the Capitol Hotel Tokyo, hosted by the Choshi Hanadeko Preservation Society, with sponsorship from Pepsi, Nippon Shinpan, and Nippon Television. December 26th. Moonwalker has been swiftly released in theaters throughout Britain, with reports of long lines forming nationwide. This film is described as a magical musical journey into the world of Michael Jackson, showcasing a narrative of good triumphing over evil. Following their rise to fame alongside Paul Simon in 1986 and subsequent Grammy wins, their remarkable talents caught the attention of Michael Jackson. In 1987, Michael contacted Ladysmith Black Mambazo to feature their performance of The Moon is Walking, also known as Linda Laney, which was showcased during the closing credits of Moonwalker. Michael performs his final concert of the Japanese leg of the tour, with Frank DeLeo announcing this will be Michael's last world tour. December 27th. Michael and his entourage fly back home from Tokyo to Los Angeles. Late December. Reports have surfaced in the media indicating that Michael has been making heartfelt visits to the hospital room of David Rothenberg, known as Dave, a 12-year-old who was admitted to the hospital after his father poured kerosene gas on him and ignited it in a vengeful act against his mother. At only 7 years old, Dave endured this horrific attack by his own father. Bad has once again secured its position as the top-selling album of the year in America, and it also holds the title for the highest-selling album of the year in Great Britain. MTV counts down the top 100 videos of 1988, featuring Michael Jackson as the artist with the most entries on the chart. His hits include Another Part of Me, Smooth Criminal, The Way You Make Me Feel, Dirty Diana, and Man in the Mirror. Notably, Man in the Mirror secured the 5th position, marking Michael's highest ranking of the year. Blues and Soul magazine readers poll names Michael Jackson as the 1988 Outstanding Artist of the Year. The Bad World Tour is voted as the best live show of 1988. Record Mirror voted Michael Jackson as the Artist of the Year. It has been reported that Michael Jackson appeared on the covers of more than 100 magazines in 1988. A Gallup poll taken in Great Britain shows that the members of the royal family are the nation's most popular personalities. Interestingly, respondents under the age of 25 named Michael Jackson as their #1 choice.
Timeline 1989, coming soon.